Hey there, and welcome back to Easy English Learning, the podcast that helps you grow your English skills and honestly grow yourself at the same time. I'm Lily.
And I'm James. Whether you're listening during your morning tea, your daily commute, or lying in bed staring at the ceiling wondering where your motivation went, we're so glad you're here.
Okay, James, real talk. Have you ever caught yourself doing the exact same thing day after day and suddenly thinking, wait, is this actually me choosing this, or am I just on repeat?
Oh, absolutely. Last week I spent 3 days meaning to start writing, and instead I just kept reorganizing my desk. Same mug, same chair, same procrastination. It's almost poetic, really.
Ha, classic. And honestly, you're not alone. There's a reason that happens. Research suggests that by the time we hit our mid-30s, nearly 95% of what we think and do every day is completely automatic, driven by habits, patterns, and emotional loops baked deep into our brain.
Which sounds terrifying at first, but here's the twist. It's actually the most exciting thing you'll hear today. Because if your brain got wired a certain way, it can also be rewired, deliberately, intentionally, and on your terms.
That's exactly what today's episode is about. We're diving into the science of brain change, not through overnight miracles or intense bursts of willpower, but through small, smart, consistent actions that actually reshape who you are from the inside out.
And the beautiful bonus, while we explore all of this, you'll be picking up rich vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs completely naturally. Real English used in real context. Our wonderful Charlotte would join us at the end to unpack every tricky expression we drop along the way.
Plus, we've put together a free downloadable PDF packed with comprehension questions, vocabulary exercises, and reflection prompts, so you can really cement what you learned today. You'll find the link in the description below.
So, if you've ever felt like a passenger in your own life, like your habits are steering and you're just along for the ride, this episode is your chance to grab the wheel. Stay with us.
All right, let's kick things off with a myth buster. Most of us grow up hearing things like, that's just how I am, or you can't teach an old dog new tricks. James, we need to throw that thinking out the window.
Absolutely. That idea belongs in the bin because neuroscience has shown us something much more hopeful. Your brain is not a rigid structure. It's alive. It's dynamic. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to reshape itself throughout your entire life.
I love how that word sounds so complicated, but the concept is so freeing. Think of your brain less like a computer with fixed programming and more like a city. Roads get built, old paths fall out of use, new shortcuts are created all the time, depending on where people actually go.
That's a great image. And those roads, they're built by your thoughts, your emotions, and your repeated behaviors. Every single time you think a thought or do an action, you're either widening an existing road, making it faster and easier to travel, or you're starting to carve a new one.
Which means your daily life isn't just your daily life. It's literally construction work happening inside your head. The patterns you repeat are the roads your brain will prefer tomorrow.
And this cuts both ways. If you keep rehearsing worry, comparison, or self-criticism, your brain gets very efficient at those routes. But if you start repeating curiosity, gratitude, or focused effort, even in small doses, your brain starts paving new, better roads.
So the takeaway here is this. You are not a finished product. You are always, always a work in progress. The question is just whether that progress is happening by accident or by design.
Beautifully put. And that design starts with one of the most counterintuitive ideas in psychology, the truth about motivation.
Okay, hands up. How many of us have said, I'll start when I feel more motivated? I have definitely been guilty of that, waiting for the stars to align before I begin something.
Oh, we all have. It feels logical, right? Wait until you feel inspired, energized, ready, and then act. But here's the thing neuroscience keeps telling us. That's backwards.
Completely backwards. The science is clear. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around. Your brain doesn't release the feel-good signals that drive motivation until you've already started doing the thing. You have to move first. The feelings follow.
Think about it like this. Imagine you're trying to get warm on a cold evening. You don't stand in front of an empty fireplace hoping warmth will appear. You put in the wood, you strike the match, and then the warmth comes. The action creates the condition for the feeling.
And this applies to everything: learning a language, exercising, writing, starting a creative project. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start, even imperfectly, even for 5 minutes.
Because here's what happens the moment you start. Your brain notices. It goes, oh, we're doing this now. Let me get on board. It begins releasing dopamine. It starts reinforcing the neural pathway associated with that behavior, and it lowers the resistance to doing it again next time.
So instead of waiting to feel motivated, shift your mindset. Don't wait to feel it. Just do it and feel it on the other side. Act your way into motivation. That's a phrase worth remembering.
Absolutely. And once you're moving, the next piece of the puzzle is knowing where you're going, which brings us to the topic of habits and, more importantly, identity.
All right, let's talk about habits, but I want to go a level deeper than just do this every day, because the real power of habits isn't just in what you do, it's in who they're making you.
Yes, there's a phrase in neuroscience: neurons that fire together wire together. Every single time you repeat a behavior, no matter how tiny, the brain strengthens the connection associated with it. And over time, those connections don't just shape your actions, they shape your sense of self.
So if you practice English for even 10 minutes a day, you're not just improving your grammar, you're becoming someone who practices English. You're building an identity, one small action at a time.
And this is why the size of the habit matters far less than the consistency of it. A 5-minute daily habit will change you more profoundly than a 3-hour session you do twice and then abandon. The brain responds to repetition, not intensity alone.
Think of it like water shaping rock. A single splash of water doesn't do much to a boulder, but water dripping on the same spot day after day, year after year, it carves a canyon. That's what consistent habits do to your brain and your identity.
And here's the powerful flip side. This also means you can break old patterns the same way, by simply refusing to feed them. If you stop rehearsing a behavior, its neural pathway weakens. Old roads fall into disrepair when no one travels them.
So whatever habit you want to build, confidence in speaking, consistency in learning, a healthier morning routine, start small. Start today, because every repetition is a vote for the person you're choosing to become.
I love that framing. And speaking of choices, there's one factor that determines whether any of this actually sticks, and most people completely overlook it.
Focus. It sounds boring, but it's honestly one of the most powerful forces in brain change. Where your attention goes is literally where your brain grows.
Think of your attention like a torch beam in a dark room. Whatever you shine it on comes into sharp relief. It becomes real, meaningful, reinforced. Whatever stays in the dark gets weaker, fuzzier, less accessible.
And in a world designed to shatter your attention, notifications, endless scrolling, constant noise, deep focus has become almost a superpower, because scattered attention means scattered wiring. Your brain literally doesn't know what to prioritize.
Exactly. When you bounce between 15 tasks without completing one, or consume hours of passive content without engaging with any of it, your brain learns to be shallow. It starts wiring for quick, surface-level processing rather than deep, meaningful thought.
On the other hand, when you sit with something, really dig into it, reflect on it, engage with it thoughtfully, your brain takes it as a signal. This matters. Build this. And it does.
This is actually one reason why listening to podcasts like this in an engaged and reflective way is more powerful than just having them on in the background. It's the difference between consuming and actually learning.
So here's a challenge for the week. Pick one thing you genuinely want to build, a language skill, a new habit, a creative project, and give it your full, undivided attention for just 20 minutes a day. No phone beside you, no half watching, all in. See what changes.
Now, let's talk about something that quietly runs in the background of all of this: emotions. Because emotions aren't just things that happen to you. They're one of the most powerful tools for brain wiring we have.
And also one of the sneakiest traps, because here's the thing, emotions are like memory glue. The more emotionally charged a moment is, the more deeply your brain encodes it. That's why you remember your first day of school, but not most of your Tuesdays.
Right. And when we keep replaying the same emotional responses, replaying old embarrassments, dwelling on past failures, nursing old resentments, we're not just feeling bad, we're actively training our brain to return to those feelings faster and more automatically.
It works like this. Repeated emotion becomes a mood, a prolonged mood becomes a temperament, and a deep-seated temperament starts to feel like personality. That's how people become the perpetually anxious person or the chronically bitter one, not by choice, but by emotional repetition.
So the key is learning to shorten what's called your emotional refractory period, the time you stay inside a negative emotional state. It doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means processing them and then consciously redirecting your attention.
Feel it, acknowledge it, and then make a deliberate choice not to set up camp in it. Because you are not your bad day. You are not your worst reaction. You are whoever you choose to be in the hours and days that follow.
Which is one of the most empowering reframes I know. Your emotional reaction is not your identity, unless you let it be. And speaking of managing the pressure, let's talk about stress, because it gets a terrible reputation and it actually deserves a second look.
Stress. Everyone's talking about how to eliminate it. But the honest truth is, you don't want to eliminate all stress. You want to learn to use it properly.
Exactly. There's a concept called eustress, positive, productive stress, as opposed to distress, which is the damaging kind. And the difference between them isn't always the situation. It's often your relationship with the difficulty.
Short bursts of challenge, giving a presentation in English, trying something unfamiliar, pushing yourself physically, these signal to your brain, pay attention, adapt, grow. They're like resistance training for your nervous system.
And the research backs this up. Controlled, purposeful stress followed by adequate recovery actually accelerates the brain's rewiring process. Challenge plus rest equals growth. That's the formula.
The problem is, most of us are living in what you could call low-grade chronic stress. Emails, comparisons, financial worry, social anxiety, all day, every day, with no real recovery in between. And that kind of stress, without the recovery piece, is genuinely corrosive.
It's like the difference between a healthy workout and running a marathon every single day without rest. One builds you, the other breaks you down.
So the lesson isn't to avoid challenge, it's to stop running from healthy difficulty, while also being deliberate about your recovery. Protect your downtime. It isn't laziness, it's an essential part of the growth equation.
Which brings us to the most underestimated, most sacrificed, most quietly essential tool for brain transformation: sleep.
Yes, the thing we all say we love but somehow keep treating as optional. Guilty as charged.
But here's why it matters so much. During deep sleep, especially the slow wave and REM stages, your brain isn't just resting, it's actively processing everything you learned and experienced during the day.
It's like your brain runs a night shift. While you're asleep, it sorts through the day's information, strengthens the neural pathways that were most activated, consolidates memories, and essentially clears out the mental waste products that build up from heavy thinking.
And here's something fascinating for language learners specifically. Sleep is when your brain cements vocabulary, grammar patterns, and pronunciation into long-term memory. Cramming before bed and then sleeping on it, that actually works because the brain consolidates it all while you're under the covers.
So if you've been grinding hard, pushing yourself, building new habits, studying, working, but skimping on sleep, you're undermining all of it. It's like filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The sleep is what closes the hole.
And even short breaks during the day, a quiet 10 minutes away from screens, a brief nap, a moment of stillness can give your brain the micro-recovery it needs to integrate what you fed it. Rest is productive, scientifically speaking.
So tonight, instead of watching one more video or scrolling through one more feed, protect your sleep. Your brain has work to do.
All right, we covered a lot of ground today, and as always, we peppered the conversation with some great English expressions and vocabulary. Time to hand things over to Charlotte to break it all down.
Take it away, Charlotte.
Thank you, Lily and James. All right, listeners, let's dig into some fantastic English you heard today. Don't worry if a few of these sailed right over your head. That's exactly what I'm here for. Let's go through them one by one. Mythbuster. Something or someone that disproves a widely believed but false idea. Example. The documentary was a real mythbuster. It proved that most of what we thought about sugar was completely wrong. Throw out the window. To completely discard or ignore a belief, rule, or plan. Example. When the storm hit, our original travel plans went straight out the window. Work in progress. Something or someone still developing or improving, not yet finished. Example. Don't judge my painting yet. It's very much a work in progress. Grab the wheel.
to take control of a situation. Example, the project was falling apart, so she grabbed the wheel and reorganized the whole team. Act your way into motivation. To begin acting before you feel inspired, trusting that motivation will follow. Example, he didn't feel like going to the gym, but he remembered. Act your way into motivation, so he laced up his shoes and went anyway. Set up camp. To stay in a place or emotional state for too long. Example, after the argument, she refused to set up camp in anger. She processed it and moved on. Peppered with, filled with, or sprinkled throughout. Example, his speech was peppered with jokes that kept the audience engaged. Sailed right over your head. Was too difficult to understand. Went completely unnoticed. Example, the professor's explanation of quantum physics sailed right over most students' heads. Cement. To make something firm, permanent, or well-established. Example, reviewing your notes after class helps cement the information in your long-term memory. Eustress. Positive, beneficial stress that motivates and promotes growth. Example, the pressure of a deadline can be a form of eustress. It pushes you to focus and perform better. Refractory period. The time needed to recover or reset after an intense experience. Example, after delivering the big presentation, she needed a short refractory period before she could focus on the next task. Torch beam. The focused beam of light from a torch or flashlight, used metaphorically for attention. Direct your torch beam towards what you want to build. Your brain will follow where your focus goes. Skimping on. Not giving enough of something, being overly frugal with time, effort, or resources. Example, if you're skimping on sleep to get more done, you might actually be slowing yourself down. Under the covers. In bed, usually sleeping or resting. Example, by 9 o'clock she was already under the covers with a book and a cup of tea. And that's a wrap on vocabulary. Try dropping a few of these into your conversations this week. Work in progress, act your way into motivation, peppered with, and watch how much more natural your English starts to sound. Back to you, Lily and James.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. That was genuinely brilliant. And thank you, all of you listening, for spending this time with us today.
Let's do a quick recap before we say goodbye. Your brain is not fixed. It is always reshaping itself based on what you think, feel, and do. Neuroplasticity means change is always available to you.
Don't wait for motivation. Act first and let motivation catch up. Start before you feel ready, because readiness is usually a feeling that comes after, not before.
Build your habits as if you're building your identity, because you are. Every repetition is a vote for who you're becoming.
Guard your focus like it's precious, because it is. Where your attention goes, your brain grows. Don't let the world scatter it without your permission.
Process your emotions, then move forward. Don't let a reaction become your identity. You are bigger than your worst day.
Use stress wisely. Embrace healthy challenge, then recover properly. And above all, protect your sleep. It's not optional, it's essential.
And if this episode sparked something in you, even one small shift in how you see yourself or your habits, that's already your brain beginning to change. Hold on to that.
Don't forget to grab the free PDF in the description below. It'll help you lock in everything from today. There are exercises, vocab practice, and prompts to help you reflect and apply what you've learned.
And if you found value in this episode, please leave us a like, hit subscribe, and share Easy English Learning with one person who needs it today. Your recommendation is honestly the greatest gift you can give us.
We'll be back soon with more episodes designed to stretch your English and expand your thinking. Until then, stay curious, stay consistent, and keep building the version of yourself you're most proud of.
See you in the next one.